The great precious metals awakening has begun. Or is that just a dramatic flare? Either way, gold and silver prices are surging dramatically, and we're going to talk about the reasons why in this video as we explore. It has been an amazing ride for gold and silver, no question. They are up dramatically today, with gold breaking yet a new all-time high. It's almost becoming commonplace to see it break records, especially for this long. I believe we're in the midst of something we've not seen before in the precious metals community. And I stand ready to report on it every time there's news and moves like this. And today is a big day for gold, as it is literally about 90 cents away from $2,300 an ounce. In fact, we've got a couple minutes left before the markets close, and we very well could see that happen at $22.99 and 10 cents for gold today. Amazing to see. Silver, though, is making bigger news, as it is up now for the second day in a row, well over 3.5%, almost $1 again today, and it went over $1 increase yesterday to $27.12. That's up 94 cents here on the day. Gold to silver ratio is narrowing, and it's about time we start to see this happen in a couple of days, but it's still far too high for many of us that feel that silver is undervalued. It's at 85.06 right now. It's a dramatic move for all the metals, except for rhodium is moving, has not moved at all here, but even platinum and palladium are making a move here too. So what's behind all this? Well, it's intriguing to see what's happening when gold just continues to go up after Powell's, the Fed Chairman Powell's comments. Reuters is reporting here that gold prices raced again to a record high on Wednesday after Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell reiterated that recent readings on job gains and higher than expected inflation do not materially change the overall picture of economic policy this year. So no news is sparking gold just to keep climbing. It's pretty amazing to see how what can be said or what is done or what the sentiment is unchanged can have such a dramatic impact on the price of gold and silver, especially gold. It's crazy. Wow, what a thing to see. And gold surged yet to this historic high on elevated trading volume after Powell stresses that bumps in the road won't change the overall rosy picture, according to Tai Wong, a New York-based independent metals trader. Powell's customary cautious approach doesn't worry gold bulls. I think bulls want to see $2,300, and I think more tourists are getting involved in the trade, and that's just it. I think we're starting to see some of this move into the silver space to some degree, although they're really not tourists at this point. And what does it mean by tourists? Essentially, those are just people that are excited about what's going on in gold and want to get a piece of the action, so they buy a little bit of the paper gold. And I think that is one of the leading up here. Now, could that excitement go away if we start to see the price consolidate and fall back down? Yes, it could. We should be prepared for that. But I don't think it's going to happen in the next couple of days or maybe even weeks. I think we're in for somewhat of a sustained bull run. Now, as someone had commented recently in a video, the one thing we have to keep in mind here is that gold and silver, it's best that they go up slowly and methodically. That's the best way in order for them to hold on to the gains that they've had. Because these radical moves that we've seen, especially the last 2 days, could be reversed very, very quickly and be discouraging for those stackers that are out there. So keep that in mind, and that is a possibility. Anytime there's a dramatic move to the upside between either of these metals, we could see a consolidation and move right back down. Although I think we are solidifying some support on higher levels now. In other words, I don't think we're going to see silver likely fall much below the previous support level of $24.50 now. And it was just yesterday where I thought maybe we could see it consolidate, move back down to $23.50. But I think those days are over, at least for now. I'm pretty bullish on silver. Now, I'm also very, very excited because we are literally about 90 cents away from my prediction for 2024 for silver to reach $28 an ounce. It's more and more likely we may see that, but who knows? Again, dramatic moves. Silver is far outperforming gold today. That could reverse. Powell's cautionary, statements are nothing new. If the economy evolves broadly as we expect, he and his Fed colleagues largely agree that a lower policy interest rate will be appropriate at some point this year. Investors still expect a first rate cut at the Fed's June 11th and 12th policy meeting, even as stronger recent economic data has shown investor doubts about that outcome. Gold, a hedge against inflation and a safe haven during times of political and economic uncertainty, has climbed over 11% this year, helped by strong central bank buying and safe haven demand. The U.S. jobs report in March is due to be released on Friday, with new inflation data coming this week. And that could make or break what happens with gold and silver's prices. In fact, I would not be surprised if the numbers come out that leads to potentially them falling. If the numbers come up hotter than expected, then that means that we may have no cuts this year, or maybe only one cut. But who knows? The likelihood of rate cuts is still there, but the data is still really strong. This is an election year. I don't think the Fed will want to be held accountable for any kind of market crash, according to Daniel Pavolinis, senior market strategist at RJO Futures. Right now, they're thinking 3 rate cuts, but they may move it back to 2. I would not be surprised at all if they just had 2 rate cuts this year, if they're going to do that. We'll see. Silver has risen dramatically, and this is something to see that I think we're starting to see some of these institutional investors, these hedge fund guys, money managers, make a move into silver because it's got a lot more upside potential, more areas for them to kind of make their money work for them in that space. But also just the fact that silver does follow gold. Now, silver rising and outperforming gold is really not something that should be considered out of the ordinary, what we're seeing today, these kind of moves. Oil is up, but the other markets are down. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is down, although the NASDAQ is up and so is the S&P. The dollar is down, but really not down a whole lot. It's down 0.5 percentage point, but it's still above 104. We also have to look at commodities. The commodities are down, all of them except for zinc, and only zinc is up just fractions. Essentially it's up a fraction, about 1 cent actually. It's about 1 cent increase for zinc. Everything else is down. And what does that tell you? Silver is breaking out and operating essentially as a precious metal, as a hedge, something that we don't see too often these days for silver, because we look at it as a commodity. So it's exciting to see that kind of move for this metal, and we'll continue to watch it. And as I predicted, with these hedge fund managers getting in, and also has been reported by someone here in the comments section recently that we're starting to see that wedge pattern take effect, and this is what is leading to it from the technical analysis side. So we'll continue to follow this move closely. But what an amazing thing. People are realizing here that the dollar is a losing proposition in terms of what it is doing. It could be a whole year before we see the Federal Reserve see actions to bring it in line with normal inflation, which is 2%. A whole year out, which means that gold and silver will provide that hedge, and they're starting now to react to it in a way that I think is finally starting to please some silver stackers out there. So we'll keep an eye on it. By the way, if you enjoy content like this, where I give you the latest news in the world of precious metals, hope you will consider subscribing to the channel and pressing that like button if you find this content enjoyable and interesting and informative. But what am I looking at for the next couple of weeks here for silver and gold? I think we're going to see a relatively sustained prices. We may see days of somewhat of a pullback, but I think if anything, any metal is going to see a pullback that is going to be somewhat dramatic or consolidated, it's going to be silver. Because we've had such radical moves the last 2 days, that we may see that sort of normalize in due course. Gold, I think we're going to see continual increases to the point where necessarily we very well could see gold break out and maintain around the 2,100 range up until the $2,300 range. But who knows? It could continue to climb up to $2,400. In fact, right now it's 30 cents shy of $2,300 right now. What an amazing ride we're seeing. And I think the thing we can do is just take note of this moment in history. We're seeing a move like this, and I think it validates what we've known for a long time, that precious metals do indeed react based off of inflationary pressures in other areas. They do tend to provide that hedge, that safe haven, safeguards you against the loss of purchasing power of the dollar. That's what they're there for. But you know what? We know they prove themselves no matter what the price does, because the price will fluctuate, but the value will hold on and press on. And that's the thing that we can enjoy about gold and silver. So let me know what your thoughts are about this video and about the markets today. Hope you found this video informative, insightful, and educational. Would like to extend a multitude of gratitude to each and every one of you for taking the time to watch, and to encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.